V-Rising has just launched out of early access, and whether you're jumping in for the first time or playing on your 100th hour, the changes to the way spells are done in the game has opened the door for a lot of really interesting builds at all points in the game. In this video today, I want to go over my Bloody Necromancer build, which utilizes spells from the Unholy and Blood schools of magic to help keep your health capped and summon up undead minions to fight by your side. I will say up front, this is definitely a beginner-friendly and a PvE-heavy build, so please don't pick it up and expect to get crazy in PvP. If this is your first time on my channel, the way I do things is by uploading the knowledge of my videos. So with that being said, we'll be using the spell Blood Craze with the Unholy spell Corrupted Skull. You'll then add in the Frenzy ability from axes, starting at the copper level and higher, which will allow you to stack the benefits of both said Frenzy and Blood Craze for insane attack speed and health leech. There's some more nuance to all this, but that's really the down and dirty of this entire video. And if that's all you wanted to know, then please feel free to shut the video down and get back to making your Bloody Vamp Bro. You can quickly navigate to any part of this video that interests you the most using the chapters in both the timeline and the description. And before you head out, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if this video did help you, as those things do have a massive impact on my channel. Let's get started here on my Bloody Necromancer build for V-Rising. Loading into the game, let's take a look at our spellbook to get an idea of which spells we'll be using for this build. Here to spellbook, and there are some options and some flex options that you can go with here, but mainly what we're going to be focusing on is Unholy Magic and Blood Magic. The first one we're going to take a look at here is Corrupted Skull. So the premise of this is that yes, it launches a projectile, it does do damage, and it will condemn things. What condemn means is that when you kill something, if it has condemn on them, then they will summon up an Unholy Warrior, and they also increases all damage dealt to them by 15%. So you get a 2-for-1 out of this. You cast Corrupted Skull, which has 2 charges, by the way. It'll hit something and immediately summon a skeleton, and it now condemns the target. The attack deals 40% bonus damage to enemies below 30% health. So you can use this as a sort of execute, as it were, if you're familiar with World of Warcraft terminology. So I use Corrupted Skull, I can launch it, I can try to kill something, and I get 2 skeletons out of it. Maybe 3 if I hit them with both charges, whatever the situation is. Now, you could, of course, instead do Bone Explosion to get the same exact principle, or you could use Ward of the Damned. The important thing to know here with the skeletons is this is not prime for PvP. What's really good about this is it is predominantly for PvE, because these skeletons will draw the attention of things. They're not going to be able to kill things one-on-one. They'll maybe be able to chip away bits of health, but it allows you to reposition and do a ton of additional stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and use Corrupted Skull here. You could use either of these other two. I'm not really good on the channeling abilities and the Bone Explosion. I think since this does 140% of magic damage, you need to have higher magic damage. This only does 80% with 2 charges. So I can kind of get away with low magic damage and focus on my physical damage, which is the primary use of this build, as it were. Now, also, I'm going to use the alt Army of the Dead because it will inflict condemn on nearby enemies, again, increasing the damage dealt to them, and also summon up 5 skeleton warriors and 3 skeleton mages. So I get a lot of skeletons just from the Unholy tree. Now, outside of the Unholy tree, we have got the Blood tree. Now, I'm going to focus on Blood Rage. If you want instead, you can use Power Surge. They're both effectively the same, and they effectively will give us the same bonus. So if you want to go to Chaos Magic, you can. But the reason I like Blood Rage here is it will heal nearby allies for 60% of your spell power and apply a Fading Haste that increases movement speed by 15% and attack speed by 25% and inflicts Leech. Leech is your blood magic capability. So you see over here, physical attacks restore 10% of damage dealt against leeched enemies, and you heal yourself for 3% of your max health when a target affected by leech perishes. So you get a lot of benefit here from the blood magic Blood Rage here. Where this all is going to lean into our weapon choice option, which is going to stack with Blood Rage, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. Now I'm pretty lucky in that I have a spell mod here that it makes so my physical damage output is increased, and I also have one that when I kill things, it heals me. Now, some dashes that you can go with too. You can go with the Blood Magic dash, the Storm Magic dash. Those are all dashes that are really going to help out. And in this version of the game, I don't have it right now, unfortunately. I've lost all my big saves. You can go with the Unholy dash, but I don't like it. But even just the base dash is just fine. Let me exit out of that. The base dash is just going to give you your health regenerated. It'll be fine here, right? For the most part, the big synergy comes off of our weapons. So let's change over to our weapon to talk about that. I've gone ahead and pulled out our axes. Now, you won't get your weapon ability until you unlock your copper axe. That's when you start to get access to this, Frenzy. So Frenzy allows you to dash forward and strike the first enemy, dealing 100% physical damage. That's great, but enter a state of Frenzy that increases your movement speed by 25% and attack speed by 50% for 1 second on successful hit. So the way that you put these things together, and I'm going to show this off in the gameplay section, is you pop Blood Rage, because this lasts for 4 seconds, and then you immediately press Frenzy. And you will have a very fast attack speed, a very fast movement speed. You'll be drawing health and replenishing your health so that you're pretty much not dying, and you just hold down left click. So you press C and then Q and then hold left click. Your character will attack very quickly. Just to show you real quick here. And that won't, the Frenzy right there, it is not going to give me the bonus unless I hit something. But that's pretty much what you would do as far as like kind of the melee combination there. And what you also remember too is that Blood Rage will heal and affect your allies. So if I go ahead and press this button, which is just the alt, I can then kind of get near them and press Blood Rage. Well, I have to get closer to them. If I press Blood Rage, you can see it's on some of them right there. It'll only affect 4 targets, including yourself. So it will apply that Blood Rage onto those 3 skeletons and give them the bonus, give them the health regen, and help them just do a little bit of damage. Again, it's not going to make it so they kill everything, but it just kind of makes them hectic and hard for the enemy to deal with. You put all these things together and you have a really strong character that can kill bosses and really not lose much health. Let's quickly talk about our blood options and some armor before showing off some gameplay. For your armor options, you could really go with whatever you'd like. You can go with the Shade Walker to increase your movement speed, and this is all going to change, right, as you jump through your tiers. And this build is applicable in the beginning as soon as you get the copper weapons, and applicable for as long as you want it to be. You can swap off to something else. And in fact, I encourage you to try different spells, different builds, because respecking is free. So get a new gem, get something cool, go play around with it. But I'm using the Grim Ranger because I want the weapon cooldown rate to be lower. It also increases my physical power. So when I go to use this, it does more damage with my physical power, which I quite like. The big thing here, though, is that 8% cooldown recovery. So my Frenzy recovers on a cooldown of 8 seconds versus Blood Rage, which will be 10 seconds. So since we're casting Blood Rage first, by the time we jump into Frenzy, they both will be recycled at the same time. It's just a nice to have. You can go with whatever you want, though. If you want to go with Warlock, then that would maybe give you more damage here for your Corrupted Skull. Just go with, again, or it will help out with your spell power and help out replenishing your Blood Rage. Now, our Blood Pool option here, I like Brute because of this. Increased healing received, heal self for 4% of your victim's health when striking a killing blow. It plays into what the already existing mechanics of what we have active with Blood are right now. Also, I like this, the primary attack life leech and the primary attack speed, the primary attack speed increase from Brute. You can go with whatever blood, and you're going to swap bloods all the time, but maybe you're going to a particularly hard boss. Just go get maybe a 30+% Brute blood, which gives you access to these first 3 tiers. That's probably going to be pretty crucial. So you should just kind of have a lot of health regen, a lot of life leech, and a lot of attack speed bonus on top of what you're going to layer into it when you actually jump into the game, or actually jump into using all your abilities. So we've got 2 characters here. Let's show off how this works. So we're going to pop out a form. Now, you can open up with Corrupted Skull, you can open up with a melee, but I'm going to go ahead and do 1 hit of a Corrupted Skull. It's going to give me a skeleton. Then we're going to press C and then Q, and it's going to kill him. Do that. And now I've got a bunch of skeletons. So that's really what we'll be doing over and over and over. It's using that using that Blood Rage to help give me a huge attack speed bonus to Frenzy. The crucial thing is Frenzy needs to hit. And even when you kind of see these big, huge pockets of people here, let's go ahead and get up in this cookie jar. Cast that alt. Get near some of them, use that, and then Frenzy. So now we're just jumping into immediately and doing a ton of damage. And something's kind of getting low in health. We can try to execute like that and get 2 skeletons out of it. And a lot of this game, as someone just said, I'm actually live streaming right now. Someone just said this in chat. a lot of it comes down to not simply the skill of the build, but the skill of the user. So there is some twitch involved in this. Do you have those kind of twitch skills to jump around and do those things, whatever it is? But that's really the build in a nut jar. What? That's not even a statement. That's essentially the build. It's very easy. You just kind of hop in, do that, and go to town. And you don't even need to use the unholy portion. I just figure it's a really fun way to buff those portions of your units up and get a lot of benefit out of them. You could go ahead and go and double stack into the chaos magic spell and make it so that you get really a lot of buffs going. However you want to kind of splice this build, please by all means do it. The point of this video is not to be a rigid dogma of how to play. It's supposed to inspire you and give you an idea of how to really approach this and give you some ideas on how to change it and make it work for yourself. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.